A receptionist humiliated a young boy with crossword puzzles, not knowing that his father owned the hotel. What happened next left everyone scared. Stay with us for a powerful story of issues and justice. Subscribe now for more inspiring stories. We really enjoy connecting with you and hearing from where you're watching. Tell us in the comments. The lobby of the Grand Elite Hotel in New York City was a showcase of elegance and luxury. Marble walls sparkled under the warm glow of an ornate crystal chandelier, while mahogany makeup and fresh floral scratches exuded sophistication. Behind Marbosa's reception desk stood Linda Caldwell, a propped-up receptionist with one dark eye and an even darker tongue. Linda took pride in serving the hotel's elite clientele and had little patience for anyone she deemed inappropriate in the space. On Wednesday, Ethan Cooper, a 14-year-old boy dressed in jeans, toys and a simple dress, walked into the hotel. His confidence was in jeopardy with his casual attire, but Ethan was no ordinary guest. His father, Mr. Jonathan Cooper, owned the hotel. Ethan headed to the reception desk, carrying a small satchel bag over his shoulder. Linda looked up and immediately turned it off with a dark glare, assuming he didn't belong. Ethan approached the table and offered a polite smile. "Hello, I'm here to see my father. Can you let him know I'm in the lobby?" Linda's tongues tightened. She scanned him from head to leg, her gaze moving away from his shoes. "Your father? This isn't a meeting for kids, you know. Maybe you are looking for the restaurant on the street." Ethan joked, flustered. "No, I should meet him here. Jonathan Cooper. He's in a meeting upstairs." Linda suffered a sarcastic smile. "Jonathan Cooper, that's a good one. Look, boy, this is a luxury hotel. People like you don't just walk in here and ask to see the owner." Ethan's polite demeanor did not appeal to him. "I'm not asking. I just need you to let him know I'm here." Linda called him dismissively. "I don't have time for that. You can leave or I'll call security." Ethan moved a little closer. His expression calm but thoughtful. Around him, some guests turned to watch the interaction. His curiosity piqued. Would Ethan stay down or leave? Ethan considered his father as a frequent lawyer. "Always stay calm and let people show who they are before you react." "Ma'am," Ethan said patiently. "I'm not trying to cause any trouble. My father is waiting for me." Linda rolled her eyes. "Yes, he is. And I am the Queen of England." She called her cell phone. "Security, we have a disruptor in the lobby. Please escort him." Ethan cried but didn't argue anymore. He had learned long ago that people often judge based on appearances. His father taught him that the best way to deal with situations like this was to let the truth unfold naturally. Ethan walked away when the security guard arrived, watching Linda's calm expression. Should he reveal the truth now or wait for his father to deal with it? As the security guard approached, Ethan watched the scene unfold with calm composition. He could feel the weight of the eyes on him. Some curious, others judgmental. This wasn't the first time he was shut down because of how he looked. And his father always told him that the truth speaks louder than matters. Let people reveal themselves before you act. Linda, excited by the guardian's arrival, crossed her arms softly. "Tom, let's get this over with." Ethan smiled softly and took out his cell phone. As he walked away, he glanced at the guests watching from the lobby seating area, noticing some banging their heads in calm disagreement with Linda's behavior. "They're waiting for me to say something," Ethan thought. "But I'll let my dad talk." The cell phone rang twice before his father answered. "Hey Dad," Ethan said, keeping his voice calm. "I'm in the lobby, but I think there's a mistake you're going to have to deal with." Linda suffered loudly. "Oh please, what are you going to do? Let him pretend to be the owner? This is getting ridiculous." Ethan raised an arm to eye her, but didn't respond. He spoke on his cell phone again. "Yes, Father. She's calling me security. You should probably rest now." Linda walked away for a moment, the word father seeming to hang in the air. Her confidence slipped a little, but she quickly wiped it away with a dismissive smile. "Nice try, kid." Jonathan's gaze darted around the room, quickly finding Ethan near the table. His warm smile faded when he noticed the security guard standing next to his son. He walked away to the table, his footsteps touching the marble shop. "What's going on here?" Jonathan asked, his voice calm but firm. Linda walked away from her trust. She walked away assuming he was another guest. "Sir, I'm sorry for the interruption." This boy was walking away in the store and accused himself of knowing Mr. Cooper. Jonathan raised an arm. "Did you accuse yourself of knowing me?" He moved to Ethan. "Are you okay, son?" Linda's face became bright. "Son." Ethan gave his father a small punch. "I tried to tell Dad." Jonathan's expression turned away as he moved to Linda. "This boy is my son. Take the time to explain why you escorted him instead of simply calling me." Linda walked away. His previous arrogance was changed by panic. I didn't realize. He didn't look like. Jonathan cut him off with a raised hand. Stop. That's exactly the problem. You didn't bother to ask questions or treat him with respect. You judged him based on nothing. Linda walked away. His face turned away in embarrassment. Around them, guests murmured, some filming the scene on their cell phones. Jonathan's next words would determine his fate. Jonathan moved to security guard. Thank you for doing your work. You can return to your post. The guardian cried and passed back, clearly relieved to be out of the situation. Jonathan's focus shifted to Linda. His tone firm and deliberate. Your job, rather, is to treat all guests with respect, no matter how they are dressed or who you think they are. That is the standard of this hotel, and it is one that I hope all employees can maintain. Linda walked away. His previous confidence was changed by panic. Sir, please, I don't want to cause any harm. Was a mistake. She pulled away, her voice shaking as she realized the gravity of the situation. Jonathan's expression didn't strain. Mistake or not, this behavior is unacceptable. I hold my employee to a higher standard because that's what our guests deserve. Today you missed this level. Linda glanced nervously around the lobby, taking in the judicial stares of other guests and employees. The weight of the situation hurt him. And she seemed lost for words. Jonathan let the silence remain for a moment before continuing. This is not just about my son. It's about anyone who walks through these doors. If you can't treat everyone with dignity, this isn't the place for you. Linda shouted away, her voice boisterously over a laugh. I understand, sir. This won't happen again. Linda was immediately sent for retraining, with a warning that further incidents would result in her dismissal. Jonathan apologized to Ethan for the experience, even though Ethan brushed it off with a smile. It's okay, Dad. It was a little fun watching her digest her own whole. Jonathan smiled. You treated yourself well. Let's make sure this doesn't happen to anyone again. The story quickly spread among employees, serving as a powerful reminder to treat everyone with dignity. Linda's arrogance cost her more than her pride. This earned her the disapproval of her peers and a lesson she would not soon forget. Have you ever witnessed someone being unfairly judged? Share your story in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful lessons and inspiring stories. Rewritten. Introduction: The Appearance Trap. Have you ever been judged just by the way you were dressed? Or perhaps you've seen someone treated unfairly because they look out of place? This is a common but painful experience that makes us reflect. Why do we still let appearances define someone's worth? Now imagine walking into a place where every detail screams luxury and exclusivity, a gleaming marble lobby, crystal chandeliers, and a staff accustomed to serving only the elite. Sounds magical, right? But what if, in that same place, you were treated as if you didn't belong, simply because of your clothes? This is the story of Ethan, a 14-year-old boy who decided to visit the most luxurious hotel in New York to meet his father. He wasn't there as just any guest, his father owned the hotel. But, dressed simply, he soon found himself at the center of an awkward situation that revealed a larger problem: prejudice based on appearances. What happened next surprised everyone present and left a powerful lesson that resonates far beyond the doors of that hotel. Get ready to discover how a simple act of arrogance led to a transformation that no one expected. Stay with us and see how Ethan and his father, Jonathan Cooper, show us that true luxury is not in the details of a room, but in the way we treat people. After all, respect and dignity are values that transcend any price tag. First thematic element: when appearances are deceiving. The lobby of the Grand Elite Hotel in New York was synonymous with sophistication. The impeccable details, gleaming marble floors, polished mahogany furniture, and a crystal chandelier that seemed to float in the air, created an environment as exclusive as the patrons who frequented it. But behind this luxurious facade, a situation would unfold that would challenge the very foundations of respect and inclusion. It was an ordinary Wednesday morning, and business at the hotel was flowing normally. Elegantly dressed guests hurried past the reception desk, while the highly trained staff maintained the composure typical of an upscale venue. Among them was Linda Caldwell, a receptionist known for her efficiency but also for her habit of judging others by their appearance. It was into this scenario that Ethan entered. He didn't look like a typical customer. With his worn-out jeans, worn-out sneakers and backpack over his shoulder, the 14-year-old looked out of place in his surroundings. But Ethan had a clear purpose: to find his father, Jonathan Cooper, owner of the hotel. The confrontation begins. Ethan approached reception and politely asked to notify his father of his arrival. Linda, however, did not receive him with the same cordiality that she reserved for guests. With a dismissive look, she responded sarcastically, suggesting that he should be at the restaurant on the corner, not there. What Linda didn't know, and didn't even bother to ask, was that Ethan wasn't just another lost boy. He was the owner's son. The interaction between the two quickly caught the attention of guests in the lobby, creating an atmosphere of silent tension. Ethan, following the advice his father had always given him, remained calm. He knew that impulsive reactions could make the situation worse. Instead of confronting Linda, he decided to let the situation resolve itself. He took out his cell phone and called Jonathan, describing what was happening. Contextualizing prejudice. Situations like this, unfortunately, are common. Prejudice based on appearances is a behavior that transcends social classes and locations. In 2019, a Harvard University study revealed that 45% of consumers have felt discriminated against in luxury environments because of their appearance or dress. This discrimination can be subtle, like judgmental looks, or explicit, like the treatment Ethan received. Although the Grand Elite Hotel was a place dedicated to excellent service, the incident exposed a systemic failure, a lack of adequate training to address implicit bias. These automatic, often unconscious, judgments can seriously damage customer experience and brand reputation. Jonathan's arrival. When Jonathan Cooper entered the lobby, the atmosphere changed. He quickly spotted Ethan and noticed the discomfort in his son's expression. He approached the reception with firm but not aggressive steps and asked what was going on. Linda, still oblivious to Jonathan's identity, began to explain her side of the story, stating that Ethan was causing trouble and that she had called security. Jonathan, without changing, turned to his son and asked if he was okay. Upon hearing the word son, Linda turned pale. The truth finally came out and silence took over the place. Jonathan then looked directly at Linda and, with a firm tone, said, "This boy is my son. Now please explain why you treated him so disrespectfully." The moment of truth. At this point, Linda tried to justify her behavior, but her excuses were not enough to erase the impact of her actions. Jonathan firmly highlighted that the hotel had a standard of respect that should be applied to all customers without exception. He recalled that a luxury environment cannot just be about appearance, but above all about the way people are treated. The scene in the lobby not only left Linda speechless, but also served as a public lesson for everyone present. Jonathan made a point of showing that, at Crown Motors, respect was non-negotiable, regardless of who was in front of the team. Reflection and connection. The incident was a watershed moment for the hotel. Employees and customers who witnessed the scene shared their impressions, highlighting Jonathan's stance as an example of fair and inspiring leadership. Ethan, in turn, demonstrated that maturity and calm can be more powerful than impulsive words or actions. This story is more than an account of prejudice. It is a reminder that appearances can be deceiving and that respect should be the basis of any interaction, whether in a luxury hotel or anywhere else. Final message. As Jonathan has demonstrated, leadership is more than managing people. It's about inspiring real change. Transformation begins when we choose to treat others with dignity, regardless of how they present themselves. This lesson resonates not just at the Grand Elite Hotel, but everywhere empathy is valued. And you? Have you ever seen a situation where appearances were deceiving? Share your experience in the comments and help spread this message of inclusion and respect. Implicit bias and its impacts. Why do we judge others based on appearance? This question is fundamental to understanding what happened at the Grand Elite Hotel. Linda, the receptionist, didn't know Ethan but automatically made assumptions about him. This is what psychologists call implicit bias, automatic judgments that we make, often without realizing it, based on stereotypes and unconscious biases. What is implicit bias? Implicit bias is not a conscious choice. It occurs when our experiences, culture, or social beliefs create automatic mental associations. For example, associating simple clothes with someone with lower purchasing power or assuming that a luxury client needs to look sophisticated. These judgments may be instantaneous, but they have lasting consequences. In Linda's case, her prejudice led her to act arrogantly and disrespectfully towards Ethan. Even without the explicit intention of humiliating him, her actions were driven by a bias that she probably didn't even recognize. This highlights a common problem. Implicit bias often goes unnoticed, but it still causes real harm. Impacts on service and business. Linda's behavior not only embarrassed Ethan, but also affected the hotel's reputation. Studies show that customers who feel discriminated against or disrespected are 60% more likely to share their negative experience with others. In a world where social media amplifies every story, a bad experience can irreparably damage a company's image. In contrast, environments that promote respect and inclusion build trust and loyalty. According to a 2020 Deloitte survey, companies that adopt inclusive practices are 27% more likely to achieve greater profitability, as customers and employees feel valued. How to combat implicit bias. The good news is that implicit biases can be identified and addressed. At the Grand Elite Hotel, Jonathan Cooper used the incident as an opportunity to implement significant changes. This included training focused on bias recognition, teach staff to recognize the automatic judgments they make. Empathy and communication, train employees to actively listen to customers and treat them as individuals, not stereotypes. Promotion of corporate values, reinforce that respect, dignity and inclusion are the pillars of excellent service. Additionally, Jonathan also used regular employee and customer satisfaction surveys to monitor progress and identify areas that needed improvement. Lessons for us all. Ethan and Linda's story reminds us that bias doesn't have to be intentional to be harmful. It can come up in small interactions like a dismissive look or a condescending comment. However, it is the responsibility of each of us to recognize these moments and act differently. True respect is not something we only offer to those who deserve it. It is a universal principle which must be applied to everyone regardless of appearance, social class or context. How can we apply this in our daily lives? Start by reflecting on your own automatic reactions. Ask yourself, am I judging someone without knowing them? This small step can be the beginning of a bigger change, both personal and collective. Leadership and transformation at Grand Elite Hotel. After the incident with Ethan, Jonathan Cooper realized that changes were necessary, not just to correct a specific error, but to transform the culture of the Grand Elite Hotel. He knew that leadership was not just about making quick decisions, was to inspire his team to adopt new values and standards of behavior. The decision to confront the problem. Jonathan started by tackling the problem directly. He not only scolded Linda, but also took the moment to teach. During the conversation, he made it clear that her behavior did not reflect the hotel's principles. Most importantly, he highlighted that how we treat others defines who we are as individuals and as a company. To ensure that situations like this did not happen again, Jonathan implemented a clear policy. Each employee would be responsible for treating all customers with dignity and empathy, no exceptions. This firm but fair stance established a standard of conduct for the entire team. Implementing transformative training. Jonathan's leadership was beyond words. He instituted regular training for the entire team, focused on 3 main areas. 1. Recognition of prejudices. Teach employees to identify and deconstruct automatic judgments based on stereotypes. 2. Customer service with empathy. Develop active listening skills and understanding customers' needs, regardless of their appearance or posture. 3. Creating an inclusive culture. Reinforce that inclusion is not just a business strategy, but a value that strengthens relationships and builds trust. These trainings not only changed the mindset of employees, but also promoted a more welcoming environment for customers and employees. Visible results. The effects of Jonathan's actions were immediate. Customers who previously felt intimidated by the hotel environment began to praise the experience. Employees, in turn, reported greater engagement and satisfaction at work. Internal surveys revealed a significant increase in customer satisfaction, and sales grew accordingly. Ethan's role and family dynamics. Ethan also played a crucial role in the transformation. His calm demeanor during the incident was a clear example of maturity and resilience. Jonathan used his son's experience as an opportunity to show the team that true leadership is not based on authority, but on mutual respect. Furthermore, the relationship between father and son demonstrated that values such as empathy and understanding begin at home and can be taken to the professional environment. The lesson for us all. The story of the Grand Elite Hotel reminds us that real change requires action, courage and commitment. It is not enough to point out errors, solutions need to be built. Jonathan's leadership showed that transforming a toxic environment into a space for growth and inclusion is possible when there is dedication and purpose. And you? How can you be an agent of transformation in your environment? Small changes in the way we treat people can have a profound impact, creating fairer, more respectful and harmonious spaces. Ethan and Jonathan Cooper's story is more than an incident at a luxury hotel. It's a reflection of how small acts of prejudice can have far-reaching consequences and how courageous leadership can turn challenges into opportunities. At the Grand Elite Hotel, an uncomfortable situation became the catalyst for profound and lasting change. The incident showed that respect and inclusion are not just nice words. They are actions that define who we are and the impact we leave on the world. Jonathan could have simply reprimanded Linda and moved on, but he chose something bigger, creating a space where every customer was treated with dignity, regardless of how they were dressed or their social status. The lesson here is clear: our choices have power. Prejudice does not need to be a final sentence. It can be an opportunity to grow, learn, and evolve. True luxury, as Jonathan demonstrated, is not in the details of the environment, but in the way people are welcomed and valued. Now the question is, what can you do to promote respect and inclusion where you live or work? No need to wait for a big event to get started. Small gestures of empathy, listening to someone, avoiding hasty judgments, offering a genuine smile, can transform an environment and even change lives. Remember, true impact is not just in what we build but in how we make people feel. Respect is the foundation of any lasting relationship, whether personal, professional, or community. If this story touched you, reflect on what you can do to be an agent of change. Small steps lead to big transformations. And as Jonathan Cooper has proven, leading with purpose is the first step to creating a world where everyone feels included and valued. Respect is the greatest wealth we can offer to others,